Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will be looking into how you can handle error properly in Go. So I have a demo program here. Basically, it doesn't have anything, right? So let's create a method called db database nitils. That's a spelling. Nitils. I think so. Yeah. So yeah, we create a function called database initialize, and let's try to run it. Initializing the database. So now let's add some print down here as well. Completed. Completed after initialize the database. Call it anything, right? Yeah. Just want to make sure this runs. Or hello after I'm so confused with the spelling. Initialize science initializing. Okay. So we have a small program over here. There's a main function which calls db initialize, and it prints some information, right? So when we run it, it should be a straightforward one. We'll get initializing the database, and we get the hello after initializing. But now, what happens when this function, like if any error occurs in this function? Let's try to simulate the error. Put panic and put a panic in here. Panic occurred. No, no. Yeah. Okay. So we simulated a panic. Right now, let's try to run the code. What happens is we get a big stack trace saying okay, panic occurred, and we are given with the stack trace in the standard. This is okay, right? This is small program, it's easier to debug, but when you're working with larger, bigger code base, then it's difficult to understand what actually happened and where the error occurred. So instead of panicking into a method, what we can do is we can make this function return an error and handle them gracefully, so that we can handle it gracefully. How you can do that is I'll create let's see, the error occurred because the flag was set to false. Okay, now let's check if flag is equal to false, then false. If flag is false, what we can do is we return that error because our error occurred because the flag was set to false. So what we can do is return the error back saying saying flag was set to false. Yeah. Oh, why am I getting it? Oh, sorry, this function is not returning, so we want to return an error, right? Yeah. We can do this error as well, but error is not declared. Oh, okay. Yeah, good. So now if everything went fine, we return nil. So what this method does is, instead of closing and exiting the program like this, just throwing out the stack trace, it actually handles the error properly, saying okay, flag, the reason we set the flag as false or some issues, we return the error back to the follow, which is in the main function, and if everything went fine, we return there. Now here what we can do is we can handle the error properly, saying if error was not equal to nil, which means something occurred, and we can do, we say could not initialize the database. Yeah, and we add more context to the error. Now, compared to previously, what we did is we made this function return an error and we handled it properly. So when you run the code again, now you get properly formatted error, which is much easier to understand, and it is much easier to debug your code, because we get an error with properly saying could not initialize the database. The reason why it was not initialized, was able to initialize the database, was flag was set to false. Now if I set the flag to true, because from the error I knew the flag was set to false, and try to run the code, it worked perfectly fine. So it's much easier when you add more context to the error and handle the error gracefully instead of just panicking. Also, my rule of thumb is, if the code is inside main, then it's okay to panic. But if it's other than any function or method other than main function, then we would like try to return error with some context, which is, and handle it in the main function. It will like make your life much easier. So yeah, that's all for handling error gracefully. I hope to see you next time. Thank you.